Alright guys, not the normal setup, but I do have my little Kenter amp and everything running and in the box. Speaker's just sitting in here, but it fits nice and tight. This is not the recoil that I'll be running with them, but the sound signature on these Depmon's Machete are very similar to the recoil, so it should be good. And right now I've got full range. I'm wired to left and right channel, full range, running to one, full range running to the other. One's on the left, one's on the right. They're getting the same amount of power, everything. So let's check this out. I'm gonna play them a little bit. I can't get too loud because the wife's in bed, but I'm gonna play a little bit of this.
Starting to flick horsepower, ground bass, drop kick like a mule. Riding low, windows down, speakers blast like a fool. Back road, take with the rhythm of our jam. Big ass loud ride, shake the land. Subwoofers echo, make the cornfield sway. Music roll.
This is cool.
Gravel roads rattle, kick up dust storms. Subwoofers pound wild like a cattle horn. Amps cranking hard, power, wise drum. Bass shake the barn, you feel it in your thumbs. Truck bed rumbler, cornfield mosh pit. Speakers in the back make the lightning split. Amplifiers buzz, got the country throb. Echoes in the hollow make the coyote sob. Big subwoofers pump whole town quiver.
Now y'all tell me that sounds harsh. And that is a Pro Audio mid and a Pro Audio super tweeter with no DSP, no roll-offs, no crossovers, no EQ, just full range, the same amount of power going to both. It's as flat as you're going to get, okay? And that's only on about, this thing maxes out at like 10 watts. It's honestly pulling about 7 because I've only got an amp and a half power supply going to it, and I'm not even turning it up. So that's just a few watts.
Kings, we superstars.
Now, like I said, to me, that sounds really balanced. Anyway, guys, you know, tell me what you think in the comments. But these guys are going in, and I'm going to make them sound quality. Damn Skippy. It should read 4 ohms, and it reads 5, which is totally normal. And you just touch the two different poles, it reads 5. Now, if I read the capacitor, see, it doesn't read anything. That's because there's not a direct connection between this wire and this wire. That's how capacitors work. So you got to skip that and go to the capacitor is soldered on. And you should get 4 or 5 ohms for each one, depending on whether it's a 4 ohm or a 2 ohm or a 1 ohm speaker. If you're buying subs and they're dual voice coil, check both voice coils. Now, beyond that, of course, there's another way to test speakers, and that's to put them on an amplifier. Well, if you've got a rig like this that you can carry with you, and of course this all runs off 12 volts, but I'm using 2 12-volt converters, then you can test them simply by taking, hopefully I have that playing, I left it playing. We'll see. Yeah. Let me get a track going here. That's just using the capacitor as a filter. There's no crossovers. So you would do the same thing with all your drivers. And even if they're a gift, if you're going to do a build, if you're getting ready to sink a bunch of time into a build with them, it's good to go ahead and test them. Make sure they're not sounding weird. You know, when you test one through the other, they should all sound the same. However, whatever you're testing, and whether it be a, you know, a speaker like this or whatever.
Superstar here.
It should sound clean. It should have a nice, clean sound to it. Of course, you know, a little amplifier like that's perfect for a bench, so I can test, and I can also, you know, evaluate stuff as well. And these things sound really good, guys. I'm kind of blown away by how good they sound. When I first hooked it up, I hooked up one of them and I had it face down, and it was just, you know, I was like, wow, that thing is not harsh at all. I mean, you can turn it down, you can EQ it, you can DSP it, and make it just play the very top end and get all you want out of it. So it's always easier to let off the gas pedal than it is to push the gas pedal through the floor. So having something that's really loud means I can just turn it down, and you know, I got something that's not gonna be stressed about playing loud. So now that I got these guys here, I've got them all cleaned up, and my next objective is going to be to create bundles. So I want to use I got some spade connectors, get those out, create good bundles, you know, spade connectors on these sides, and attach here somehow, either twisting it on or soldering it. I'll have to find all the rest of my soldering kit. But I want to create a bundle, and then I want to take, because if you look at the way these are mounted, these capacitors, you know, these are really tight. There's not much room for something to be alongside this. So what I need for it to happen is the capacitor to be as far toward the back of this as possible. And it's already pre-soldered on there. And but there's another thing too. When to check, I got a feeling, and I want to find out. So this ferrite magnet. Okay, so if I touch those together, you see, we get it'll go down to about 1 ohm. It's a little bit. There's a little bit of resistance in these, so it's about 1 ohm. 1 to 2 ohms is a dead short, but there's not any connection happening here. This metal plate is definitely conductive, so I don't have to worry too much about the wire coming into contact with this plate. But I probably will put a little bit of electrical tape along here just to make sure, and like up here, so make sure I put tape around that so that we don't have to worry about that connecting. But what I want to do is create bundles of 2 wires, a positive and a negative, coming out together, running out about 1 foot or so on all 4 of these, so that when I install them, I'm just connecting 2 wires together and not trying to do all this fancy stuff.